Hi guys, I hope you all are doing well. My name is Shambhavi and today I am here with another book review, and today the book that we are going to discuss is The Palace of Illusions by Chitra, Banerjee, Divakaruni. It is definitely one of my most favorite reads this month, and so I thought that we should talk about it a little. So let us just begin with the book review without any further ado. For all those who don't know, The Palace of Illusions is based on Mahabharata. And I think most of us are familiar with the main plot or the basic plot of Mahabharata. It is the story of rivalry between two sets of brothers, which is Kauravas and Pandavas, and the dire circumstances that the rivalry ultimately leads to. So usually you will find that the Mahabharata is narrated in the third person, and it gives a lot of details and explanations about what is going on in the minds of all the male characters, but it leaves out the thought process and what all goes in the minds of the female characters. And I think there's a big gap if you consider this point, and no matter Mahabharata is being retold so many times since 2000 years, but this gap still exists. And this is exactly what the author has wanted to fill in, and how beautifully she has done that. So, The Palace of Illusions narrates Mahabharata from the point of view of one of the most fiercely independent female characters, which is Draupadi. Although in the book she prefers to call her Panchaali, and you will see why. So, this is her narration, and she has tried to weave this soul touching yet very enduring life story. The novel is half history, half mythology, and wholly magical. So if you see, the length of original Mahabharata is almost 10 times the length of Iliad and Odyssey combined. So basically it is a very huge epic. So obviously not everything is there in the book. The author has skimmed down everything up to 360 pages, and she has tried to focus mostly on those points which are concerned with Draupadi. As an epic, Mahabharata is full of intrigue, magic, mystery, politics, family feud, and obligations. And that is what is reflected in the novel as well. It is beautifully narrated and is highly engaging. So now here I am going to talk about the things which I liked and some things which I did not like about the book. So let us start with the things that I really liked about this book. The very first thing is that it has such a fresh viewpoint, and that is why it is so refreshing to read the story through Draupadi's gendered lens. And it shows us how she is less of a victim and more of an independent and a rebellious woman who has very basic human flaws, but she also has the strength to deal with the situations that arise because of those flaws. And this is a way in which I have never read this epic, and so I feel that this is something that you should look up to. The second thing about the book is that it is very intense and intriguing. The art of storytelling is definitely top notch, and it is emotional and gripping. The characters are strong and very well shaped. The prose is gorgeous and the story setting is just magical. Even detailed descriptions have been described in such an interesting fashion that you really don't want to skip any of the part. And here I would like to say that Chitra Banerjee Divakaruni as an author has a wonderful flowy writing style which reflects in almost all of her books. The third most important thing about the book is that the characters are unapologetically human. The author has bereft the characters of all their divine stature, and she has described them in a way that we as humans can instantly connect to them. Almost every character in the book has been shown in a mixed fashion, and this enables us to see the character not as purely positive or purely negative, but rather as a mixture of both. And I think this is the true essence of the original Mahabharata as well. Every time you will see a character and you will see, okay, this is a good person, but in some situations you will find that it is completely the opposite, and you will be left perplexed as to what to do. For example, if you take Draupadi, then we will see that she is a very headstrong and an independent kind of a woman, but at the same time she is very egoistic and restless and has vengeance crept into her character. So this is how she has been kind of summed up in the book. Secondly, if we talk about Yudhishthira, then we know that he has always been morally upright throughout the story, but then we encounter some of his weaknesses. For example, he has a weakness for the game of dice. Then we'll also see that the person who has taken the promise of never ever lying, he also is forced to lie in one of the circumstances. And so this is how you will see that every character is a mix of all the black and the white, so there's nothing which you can freely take the side of. So basically the book kind of mirrors our real life as well, because this is what happens in reality also. The fourth thing that I liked about the book is that all the chapters are very short and gripping, and the pace of the novel is very fast. The short chapters give you an increased liberty of deciding your own pace of reading. So you can decide up to yourself that if you want to read 3 chapters in a sitting or 10 chapters in a sitting, and I think that is a kind of a convenience for the reader. Having said that, I have to also mention that the story moves at such a fast pace that it almost feels like a roller coaster, because they have to actually combine the summary of most of the Mahabharata into one 360-page book, and that is why with every chapter we move very fastly into the story. The fifth thing that I liked about this book is very peculiar. So I like that every chapter has a one-word title, and I really like this way of giving headings to all the chapters. This is a very clever way of conveying to the reader what the pivotal point of the chapter is. And here I would like to mention one more thing, that the title of the first chapter is Fire, and similarly the title of the last chapter, that is the 43rd chapter, is also Fire. So it kind of comes to a full circle, and I think that was very interesting to read. And the last positive point that I want to mention here is that the story stays very true to the original Mahabharata. And I think this is something which I was looking forward to, because had the author strayed away from it, then she wouldn't be according the book the respect that it deserves. And this is, I think, the biggest credit that the author deserves, that even when she has presented the story in a very novel and an interesting fashion, she has not tried to tamper with the original story. The only liberty that she has taken is to delve into the thought processes and the feelings of Draupadi, and I think that was the entire plot, and that was the entire point of this book. So this was also a positive aspect about the book. Having talked about all the things that I liked about the book, there are two things that I did not quite like. The first point is that there is a subplot in this book which is highly repetitive. From the starting chapters up till the end of the chapter, I think it is mentioned in each and every chapter, and sometimes multiple times in the same chapter. So it was kind of something which I did not like, and I really wanted to tell the author that okay, I get your point, now please can you just please stop repeating it every few lines. So that was something which kind of irritated me a little. And the second thing that I want to say is that we all know that the author has done a lot of research before writing this book. She has gone through so many texts to gain perspective and to understand the various complexities of this epic, but she has not included those sources at the end of the book. Maybe it is not something which was necessary, but actually I was really looking forward to it, as to see that what all she has read, and from how many diverse kinds of sources she has collected the matter. So I felt that there would be a kind of a bibliography or a kind of reference section at the end of the book, and but it is not there. So yeah, these were the two things that I kind of did not like about the book, but that is it. All in all, it was a super book that I have read in the recent times, and I'm going to remember it for a very long time, and maybe I'm going to reread it in a few months, because the world that the author has portrayed in the book is truly magical, and the Palace of Illusions is an actual reality that she has detailed very nicely in the book. And the biggest thing is that she has described everything in such a wonderful manner that an image will form into your mind whenever you are reading something, and it will stick with you for a very long time. So if you are in a mood to read a story which includes battles, power play, politics, glory and carnage, then this is the book for you. And it also includes a lot of one-liner statements which are filled with a lot of wisdom, and you will feel like underlining them after every few pages. And all of them have been written with a lot of perspective and a lot of depth, so I really enjoyed reading and underlining them. And my final comment is that it is an extremely well written and a truly unputdownable book in its truest sense, and it will try to open your minds to a lot of things that initially you might have been oblivious to. And this brings us to the end of the book review. Thank you for watching the video, and if you have already read the book, then please tell me in the comments how you found it to be. If you want to read the book, then I have put a link to it in the description box below. You can click it and buy the book for yourself. That is all for today. If you have not still subscribed to the channel, then please do so. And see you next time. Till then, stay home, stay safe, and keep reading.